and welcome to the Academic City News Channel on TAC 1. I am Ronak
and I am Ayushi
reporting to you from Nelamangala.
Let us begin with today's headlines, starting with the international news. Indian students evacuated from conflict hit Iran expressed gratitude in the government of India. A 5-year-old reveals what happens after death. PM Modi expressed his surprise when the facts reached him. Russian woman found living in cave with 2 daughters. Government schools can now fail classes 5 to 8 students as no detention policy ends. The wild science behind 46,000-year-old worms coming back to life. India boycott Pakistan, a free these double standards expose. First sports with Rupa Ramani. Exterritorial is a gripping action thriller of one mother's fight for justice.
Relieved and emotional, Indian students evacuated from conflicted Iran expressed gratitude to the government of India for swift action, timely coordination, and ensuring their safe passage back home.
इंडियन एम्बेसी ने हमारे लिए सब कुछ ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड रखा था, हमें उतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुई. बस हम थक गए हैं, 3 दिन से सफ़र कर रहे हैं.
किस तरह का बिहेवियर था वहाँ पे लोगों का, जिस हिसाब से वहाँ पे माहौल था?
किन लोगों का? ईरानियों का, ईरानियंस का. उनको कुछ नहीं, उनको पता ही नहीं था.
आप जब यहाँ तक पहुँचे कैसे हालात थे वहाँ से और यहाँ तक पहुँचे?
जब हम उर्मिया से निकले तो उधर हालत उतने ख़राब नहीं थे. हमें डॉम के सामने से, विंडो के सामने से मिसाइल्स जाती हुई दिखती थी. और एक बार बस एक इंसिडेंट मुझे याद है जो हुआ था कि हमारे 3 बजे रात को हमारे डॉम के ऊपर से एक मिसाइल निकली थी तो हमारी पूरी विंडो हिल गई थी.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, हम वापस आए आज और बहुत खुशी है कि उन्होंने इंडियन एम्बेसी ने हमें बहुत अच्छे से रेस्क्यू किया. सो वी आर वेरी थैंकफुल फॉर देम.
French President Emmanuel Macron had a special message for Indian students.
This is my main message for young people here. We want to have 30,000 students in France coming from India by 2030. If we can have these 30,000 students even in 2 years' time, I would be the happiest president. So come to France to study. In all the different big cities, all the different places, because I think this is the key entry point for a new language. This is a key entry point for not just Europe, but Europe and Africa, and I think this is unique.
The central government has scrapped the no detention policy for class 5 and class 8 students, allowing those who fail exams to repeat the year after a second chance to pass.
Big breaking news on India Today Digital. The central government has made a major change in education policy, ending the no detention policy for 5th and 8th graders. This means that students in these classes who fail their year-end exams can now be held back and must repeat the grade. Sanjay Kumar, Secretary, Department of School Education and Literacy, posted on X that the Union Education Ministry has taken a big decision and abolished the no detention policy. Students who fail the annual examination in classes 5 and 8 will be failed. This new rule applies to over 3,000 central government-run schools, including Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas, and Sainik schools, as per Senior Education Ministry officials. The decision, announced through an official notification, reverses the 2019 amendment to the Right to Education Act. Under the new rule, students who fail their exams will get a second chance to pass within 2 months. If they don't meet the promotion requirements after the re-examination, they will be held back in the same grade.
A Russian woman and her 2 young daughters were found living in a remote and dangerous cave atop in the Ramatirtha hill in Karnataka's Gokarna. During a patrol, the Gokarna police discovered the 3 in a makeshift dwelling deep within the forest. Over to Srijay.
In a startling incident from Karnataka, a Russian woman and her 2 young daughters, aged 8 and 10, were discovered living in a cave of Ramatirtha Hill near Gokarna. The family had reportedly been residing for there several days without access to basic necessities like food, water, or sanitation. Local residents spotted the family and informed the authorities. When police and the forest officials arrived in the site, they found the trio in a remote and dangerous location. Despite the harsh conditions, the children appeared physically stable. Through medical checkups and psychological support are being arranged. Preliminary investigations suggest the women may have chosen isolation due to personal or spiritual reasons. Authorities are now verifying the identity, visa, documents, and how she managed to stay undetected.
The wild science being 46,000-year-old worms coming back to life. They were frozen in time for 46,000 years. That is until 5 years ago, when two ancient creatures were thawed from a sample of icy earth and came back to life. These weren't spirits or ghosts, though they were roundworms. Over to Hasini.
In 2015, a Russian researcher dug up two frozen roundworms in Siberia. She thawed the worms and they came back to life. Once alive, they started laying eggs and making more worms. Scientists were able to date the original worms back to 46,000 years. To survive, they entered a state called cryptobiosis. That is when an animal shuts down their systems to endure harsh conditions. One of the reforested frogs was a species scientists hadn't seen before. Scientists hope to learn more about cryptobiosis by studying the worms.
In a dramatic twist at the World Championship of Legends, several top Indian cricketers including Suresh Raina, Harbhajan Singh, Irfan Pathan and Shikhar Dhawan pulled out of the scheduled match against Pakistan, citing the Belgaum terror attack as the reason. The organisers eventually scrapped the high-profile clash, fearing further backlash. Over to Srijay.
In the World Championship of Legends tournament, where India's players were set to play Pakistan Legends on Sunday. Now first, what is this tournament exactly? The WCL, World Championship of Legends, is a tournament that features 6 countries and the teams consist of retired or non-contracted players. This year is the second edition of the tournament and is taking place in the UK. And the countries involved are India, Pakistan, England, South Africa, West Indies and Australia. Some prominent names across these countries are taking part, so it's quite exciting. Now Sunday, Pakistan-India was set to clash.
Now over to Hasini for a review on the recent movie Exterritorial.
Exterritorial, a gripping action thriller of one mother's fight for justice. The upcoming 2025 action thriller Exterritorial tells the intense story of Sarah Wolf, an ex-military agent whose child vanishes inside the US consulate in Frankfurt. With diplomatic immunity blocking any official help, Sarah takes matters into her own hands. As she unravels a deep conspiracy, she must face powerful enemies, corruption and deadly threats, armed only with her skills, instincts and the will to save her child. Exterritorial is a heart-pounding tale of justice, courage and a mother's relentless determination, releasing soon in theatres worldwide.
Now for the weather forecast. New Delhi recorded a maximum temperature of 22 degrees Celsius and minimum 9 degrees Celsius. Mumbai recorded a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius and minimum 22 degrees Celsius. Bengaluru recorded a maximum temperature of 29 degrees Celsius and minimum 16 degrees Celsius. Jaipur recorded a maximum temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and minimum 8 degrees Celsius. Srinagar recorded a maximum temperature of 7 degrees Celsius and minimum 0. Shimla recorded a maximum temperature of 16 degrees Celsius and minimum 7 degrees Celsius.
Now for the headlines again. Indian students evacuated from conflict-hit Iran Express, gratitude to the government of India. A file reveals what happens after death. PM Modi expresses surprise when the facts reach him. Russian woman found living in cave with 2 daughters. Government schools can now fail classes 5 to 8 students as no detention policy ends. The wild science behind 46,000-year-old worms coming back to life. India boycott Pakistan after these double standards expose first sports with Rupa Ramani. Exterritorial is a gripping action thriller of one's mother fight for justice. It's raining cats and dogs in most parts of Karnataka.
Thank you, this is Ayushi Adhikari and Ronak and Ayushi signing off.
Thank you and have a nice day.